Hi, this is Ms. Ball, and I'm going to show you how to make your data table for your biome project. So I have chosen the biome type wetlands, and for my specific geographic location, I chose the Baker Wetlands right here in Lawrence, Kansas. Make sure when you choose your location that you choose a location where you can find some data. A national park is a good idea, or choosing a biome location that's near a major city will also work. So the first thing I had to do is I had to find some data. So I went onto Google and I typed in Lawrence, Kansas average precipitation, and I got several resources that looked great. And I can do the same thing and change that to average temperature. So keep in mind, you want the monthly average precipitation, the monthly average temperature. You do not want minimum, maximum, high, low. You want the average. So you might have to check out a few sources until you find the data you want. So you might want to pause the video here and look at how I've set up my data table because this will be really helpful if you follow the same format. I'm going to use the same data table in my second video to show you how to make a climograph. So I put just a general title, what is my data table all about? It's the Baker Wetlands average precipitation and temperature. I put that at the top. And notice I merged several cells together. There's a fun little button you can use to do that. Or actually, I didn't merge them, so I think I will merge them together. And it's this little button right here. And then that makes it into one big cell, which I kind of like. And then I have in the first column in a subtitle month, then precipitation, and don't forget your unit of measure. It doesn't matter if you use centimeters or inches or millimeters, but just be consistent. If you use metric on one, use metric for both. And then I use temperature in Fahrenheit. The most important thing about making this data table is that when you put your numbers in, make sure that you're not using any kind of symbols. So there's no like degree sign, there's no words, there's no F or C or inches. Each of the number cells should just be numbers. I used a 3-letter abbreviation for the months. You can write the whole month out if you want, but it's going to kind of make your graph a little bit harder to read in the end when you make your climograph. All right, so my data table, all the information is here, but I do want to make it a little bit prettier. I also don't want to junk it up for the climograph. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy what I have here. So I'm highlighting Command C. And then if you go down to the bottom of your Google Sheet, you have a little plus tab. I've already used the plus tab and I've made an additional tab here called Sheet 4. And it's just a blank sheet. So I'm going to click over to it and I'm going to use my Command V and I'm going to just paste the same data right into it. So now I can play with it and make it look a little bit prettier because this is going to be the data table that I actually put on my slide. So I can spread out the columns so that I can read all the words. Maybe I probably want to put a box around the whole thing. So highlight the whole thing and then go up and use the little borders tool. And I'm going to use the one that goes all the way around. You can change the color, you can change the line thickness of that, whatever you like. Don't spend too much time on it, but that does look nice. I might want to use a color scheme. So maybe I'm going to make the whole thing, I'm going to use the fill tool and make it really light blue. But then I want this row to stand out. So I'm going to use a little bit darker blue, not so dark that I can't read it, but just enough to make it pop and kind of stand out. And if I want, I can even go in and I can do things like center the text, make it look pretty. I can use bold. I can put in more boxes. Maybe I'm going to put a border on this, make it look nice. And maybe a border on this to make it look nice. There's no one set way, but I do want you to put some lines and borders on it so it actually looks like a data table. All right, so I think this is the way I want it to look for my presentation. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing again. I'm going to use Command C to copy it. I'm going to go over to my Google slide, and I'm just going to use Command V. If it asks you if you want to link to the spreadsheet, say yes, paste. That way, if you have to go back and make a change in your spreadsheet, it will update on this slide as well. So there's my data table. It looks really nice. So if you have any questions, ask your teacher.